Well, good morning. My name is Mark Gardiner from GardinerAngusRanch, and I'm very pleased to visit with you today about the first annual JLB Ranch sale being held near Douglas, Kansas on Friday, November 15th at 10 a.m. at the ranch. You know, I've had the great pleasure of working with Jim Bosler and Jason Dirks for a number of years. It's approaching a decade now, and I've been totally and completely impressed with not only their effort and their inquisitiveness to get better, but how well they've done on such a large ranch to make beef better. You know, it's really cool. Jason Dirks grew up kind of working with a legend in Kansas by the name of Les Cooper, and Les Cooper took him under his wings and did a lot of work with him. And I'm not sure I know anybody that can sort cattle better than Jason Dirks. He knows cattle. He works hard every day, and he can shape them up and sort them. And these 585 head they're going to sell on Friday, November 15th, have been specifically selected by Jason. And so when you think about that and you think about big ranches in the United States and more specifically Kansas, you know, a lot of people like to see the movies and television shows and Yellowstone and things. Well, this is the real deal. This is a big ranch that is run very, very professionally, and it's right and tight. They AI such a large percentage of them, and they get a very, very good conception rate all over the Flint Hills of Kansas. And, you know, they make those cattle work for them. Reproduction is the #1 performance trait, and they run them professionally. They run them in big groups. They get them bred in a time-restricted breeding season. And, you know, you can watch it on TV or you can see it in person with the real thing versus movie stars. These guys are cowboys. And so I think that's exciting. And, you know, there's lots of good operators in Kansas that know how to run ranches. But I think besides being good operators, JLB Ranch have been truly students of the game when you look at genetics. They've been a GardinerAngusRanch customer for approaching 10 years, like I said. And you look at the bulls they've just purchased the past 4 years. Those bulls average, I stress this, and this is a large number of bulls, they average in the top 10% of the Angus breed for yearling weight, while simultaneously ranking in the top 3% of the Angus breed for marbling, but also in the top 10% of the Angus breed for muscle when you look at the ribeye area. And so also when you go to the indexes of the dollar beef index, which of course is the post-weaning genetic merit index, they're in the top 3% of the entire Angus breed. And a lot of folks like to use the dollar combination index as a guide for cattle that not only work in the feed yard and on the rail, but their dollar C, their dollar combination ranks in the top 4% of the Angus breed. And so when you have that kind of a commitment to that kind of genetics, it's amazing. So when we talk about JLB Ranch and we talk about any kind of operations in the beef cattle business, I think it's one thing to have had anecdotal evidence and say, you know, there sure are good ones, but it's another thing to have the data. And when you look at the JLB Ranch data over the past 4 years, 3,167 head going through packing plant have been 95% choice. They have been 28% prime and 45% CAB. Those are exceptional cattle. Those are cattle that help make beef better. And you look at where we are here in just the last year, they've harvested 367 head. And those 367 head are at 50% prime and 45% CAB. So that only leaves 5% choice minus. 100% choice and higher on those 367 head. I encourage you to join us on Superior Productions on Friday, November 15th at 10 a.m. at the JLB Ranch near Douglas, Kansas. These are outstanding cattle backed up by outstanding people. These cattle will make you money.